Father, to attend this workshop concerning the activities here ravaging in this nation, Nigeria and Edo State. 16 days of activism. We are gathered here today, Lord Father, to learn. May you teach us in the name of Jesus. Amen. That even as we have come, King of Glory, we are not for strife, but we are gathered to learn and to know in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ma. That was a deep pastoral prayer. God bless you. Let me start from here. Tell us your name, your organization, and your designation there.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ekama Esther, Organizer from Carrying Out Initiative. I'm the Knowledge and Information Officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome. Next.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Florence Mame. I'm in the organization of OAP.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Amari Chima.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anne Faye. I'm from Hawaii Volunteer.
Welcome. Clap for her. Just appreciate her.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aisha Justina from IYA Volunteer.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abontain Laura from Indomitable Youth, and I'm the finance officer.
You're welcome.
Heferawa Ray, Success is my name, from Hawaii. I'm the M&P officer. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, ma.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan Wahab. I'm from Sutawaka.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Oko, member of WOCAP.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faith James. I'm a member of WOCAP.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Agatha Osieke. I work for WOCAP, Women, Youth and Children Advancement Program.
Thank you. Welcome.
A very good afternoon, all of you seated here. My name is Ronke Ojekere, and I'm the Initiator Society to Heighten Awareness of Women and Children Abuse, Sutawaka. And on this note, let me quickly give my welcoming address. Let me save Sonny the trouble of having to ask him to come out. Well, we all know that we are celebrating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence 2023. We have chosen as our topic, the theme for the day is, for the year is investing to prevent violence against women and girls. And we have a subtopic that says empowering community for local change. I'm going to be basing my talk, my welcome address on this. Investing in initiatives to prevent violence against women and girls through community empowerment is a crucial step towards fostering lasting change. By channeling resources into local programs, we can address the root causes of gender-based violence and create sustainable solutions that resonates with the unique needs of each community. Empowering communities involves education, awareness, and the cultivation of a supportive environment. Initiatives that focus on education can provide individuals with the knowledge and skills to challenge harmful gender norms, fostering a culture of respect and equality. This in turn helps dismantle the pervasive attitudes that contribute to violence against women and girls. Creating awareness within community is equally essential. Programs that promote open dialogue about gender-based violence can help break the silence surrounding these issues. encouraging victims to come forward and seek support. Moreover, fostering community-wide understandings can lead to the development of collective strategies for prevention and intervention. Investing in local change means recognizing the unique dynamics of each community. Tailored interventions that consider cultural, social, and economic factors are more likely to be effective in preventing violence. This may involve collaborating with local leaders, organizations, and influencers who understand the community's intricacies and can drive change from within. Economic empowerment is an important tool in preventing violence against women. Initiatives that support women's economic independence, such as skills training and access to financial resources, can enhance their agency and reduce vulnerability to abuse. In summary, investing in preventing violence against women and girls through community empowerment involves education, awareness, and tailored interventions that address the unique challenges of each community. By fostering a culture of respect, dismantling harmful norms, and supporting economic empowerment, we can build a foundation for lasting change at the local level, including, I would not forget to extend our deep appreciation to the Voice of Women Radio for their invaluable support to Sutawaka, ensuring that our efforts to advance the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence 2023 makes a significant impact in raising awareness and fostering positive change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Becca. Appreciate her for that intellectual opening remark. Why this is very, very important, because it's one of the hallmarks to curbing GBV. So in that sense, I would like to introduce another seasoned speaker, a champion of peace and security, in the person of Barrister Agatha Osik, to present a paper on peace and security.
Thank you, Sutawaka, for giving me this privilege. Actually, my work would have been easier if it would project, but I will try my best to keep one or two things from what I have here. Okay, I titled my presentation as Unite, following the theme for the year's program. I say unite, that is a kind of exclamation, investing on women and girls on peace and security for the prevention of GBV. My first point there is the importance of the 16 days of activism. I know some of us, we must have googled, we must have tried to understand why every year it's important to celebrate the 16 days of activism. I have number one here, to call for prevention and elimination of gender-based violence on women and girls. 2, to remind citizens, including families, governments, employers of labor at all stratas, of the importance of increased knowledge on GBV. Then, to challenge discriminatory attitude and call for improved law and create more awareness on existing laws. Of course, we all know that before now, both in Nigeria and in all the states, we have laws that prohibits, gender-based violence on women and girls, even children. So the 16 days is for us to, propel, amplify, and showcase activities that will, bring to mind all that is around gender-based violence, and also understand in-depthly the provided laws. Like, for example, in Edo State, we have the VAP law. It's important every one of us seated here should understand the content and context of the VAP law and every other law that protects women and girls in the area of gender-based violence. Now, when you talk of peace and security, that is where we begin to look at an international framework that was domesticated in Nigeria and even in every state of the nation, though Edo State we are yet to get there. And that law, or that legal framework, we call it United Nations Resolution 1325. This document looks in-depthly at peace and security as it has to do with women and girls. This document protects us. This document enhances our visibility. This document, gives us the privilege to tread where even customs and traditions are saying that we must not tread on. It's a framework that indicates that women must be critical actors in all efforts to achieve sustainable peace and security all over the world of sexual violence and assaults, along with related HIV infection, pregnancies, and health complications as a result of these abuses. Their vulnerability to ritual and organ harvesting spree cannot be overemphasized, hence the importance of domesticating the National Action Plan on the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325. Like I said earlier, Nigeria has this document, and every state, has been encouraged to go and domesticate their own document, at least to ensure that everything that happens around them that pertains to women is included. And unfortunately, to say here that Edo State, we are yet to get our own state action plan, and it is a very big issue. When we are talking about gender-based violence, we have the VAP law, yes, we have all it takes, yes, but without domesticating that document, it's like we are pouring water on the stone, because this particular document strengthens every other legal document that we have in the different states. Now the question is there a relationship between the yearly 16 days of activism and women, peace and security? The answer is yes. Why? There are emphasis on the protection of women and girls and prevention of gender-based violence against them. The 16 days of activism is based on activities, visible activities. The Women, Peace and Security is a policy document that protects women and girls against GBV and gives them the leverage to participate in their local, state and national level governance and in peace-building strategic plan. Another question is, what does the policy on women, peace and security tend to achieve? The Nigerian Action Plan for the implementation of the United Nations Resolution 1325, which hinges on women, peace and security, is a document that is imperative for the inclusion of women in the process of peace building, peacekeeping, conflict resolution, and conflict management. This became very important due to what women and girls are experiencing in the present-day Nigeria. It's important to state here that every state of the Federation is mandated to put in place their state action plan on the GBV issues that are peculiar to their states. Then, I want us to look at, in fact, when this process started, there were 5 pillars, you know, that the United Nations put in place to guide every state, you know, in coming up with their own action plan. We have the 5 P's, and these are prevention, protection, participation, promotion, and persecution. Now, if you those of us that are conversant with the VAP law, when you look at the VAP law, the document itself, and look at all its provisions, you now ask yourself, what are, you know, these provisions going to achieve? Now, if you look at these 5 P's that I've stated, the VAP law document tends to ensure that it protects the woman, tends that it, you know, prevents gender-based violence against them. It talks about prosecution, but it doesn't talk about promotion. However, the United Nations Security Council document has given us the leverage on what should be done to ensure that women are 100% protected from gender-based violence. So let us look at what is this prevention. Though there are other issues that came up under prevention, but let us look at, among other provisions, it is important to strengthen early warnings and early responses, or early warning mechanisms. Now, when you protect, or when you want to protect somebody from something, you must be able to look out for early warning signs. Meaning that once you're able to identify those early warning signs, you'll be able to nip whatever conflict that will happen to that person to the bud. So that is what this prevention on the United Nations document is talking about. About participation. Amongst other provisions, there is need to train women and girls as mediators, negotiators, and conciliators. So, when women becomes part of, you know, the negotiating process, it gives mediators, or even judges, lawyers, or even the court. It gives you know, victims or survivors the leverage to get 100% justice. Because when a woman is seated on the table as a judge, the woman understands what the fellow woman is passing through, or what the children of the girl child is passing through. So there is need to have women to become mediators, to become conciliators, and to become negotiators. Very important. Now, when you talk of protection, amongst others, it tends to ensure socioeconomic empowerment of women and girls. So when women are protected economically, what do you see? When a woman, when a woman is economically empowered, her voice becomes louder. She will be able to say no to certain things. Whatever she thinks will not, go down well with her, she will have leverage to say no. That is where her protection comes in and begins. Then protection, amongst others, intensify advocacy against traditional and cultural practices. Then prosecution, amongst others as well, initiate a process of collaboration between the police and social workers in the prosecution of GBV. Very, very important. Though there has been additional pillars, but for this meeting, we go with these ones that I've just provided. Now, why the need to unite and invest to prevent violence against women and girls? Why? No. It's important because there must be collective efforts towards a goal that enhances our outcome and results. These efforts can be through town hall meetings, small media talk shows, printing and distribution of IEC materials, that just like Sotawaka is doing here on GBV, house-to-house evangelism. Evangelism is on quote, the way we go about discussing our religion. should also be the way we should be talking about gender-based violence. Market campaigns, like most of us we do, religious houses engagements, training of women and girls on defense mechanisms, trainings on what GBV entails, sensitization on steps to be taken when it happens. So as long as one takes any of these activities, that person has invested to prevent gender-based violence against women and girls. Whatever activity, whatever action you take at any point in time, you are investing. You invest your money, you invest your time, you invest your knowledge. Then in conclusion, the call to prevent GBV will be achieved by everyone's commitment to the struggle. Single out your strength, build on it, hold a sister's hands, lift it, and make a whole difference. On this note, I will appreciate every one of us at your own leisure time to listen to the music of Shaggy, The Strength of the Woman. We all know that song. When you listen to it, you understand that the woman is so strengthened by nature that her strength needs to be strengthened by the government, by every one of us seated here, by the communities, by existing laws and policies. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I'm sure that from what you've said so far, we've benefited one way or the other. Basically for me, the highlight I picked was the 5 P's you talked about. So when you lay emphasis on the essence of this program, one of the key things you said is to sensitize people who are suffering from GBV. I want to ask, in my thought, outside sensitizing them, how do you ensure that these persons are not continuously being, going through that GBV? Yes.
To us, when you sensitize someone, sensitization as well has to do with education. You don't just sensitize for the person to know what GBV is or how to get away from it. We also sensitize, like I mentioned, how to protect yourselves from further conflict or violence. Okay, and for those that are not economically empowered, or those that are not engaged, because at times you discover that people that go through it often and often again are those that, one, they don't understand themselves, they don't understand their powers, and they don't have the mindset to move away from a particular circle, okay, or a particular mindset. Some persons that have been abused, they mostly the young ones, they see it as a way of life as they grow. So when they grow, or as they keep growing, if you begin to try to change their mindset, it becomes difficult, because they have seen it as a way of life, because it started from childhood. But for adolescents and women, a young girl who has been violated should be able to know that that thing happened without her consent, and she should be able to understand that because it happened without her consent, she has every right to take action. That action could be, legal action, could be counseling action, but at least talk to somebody to help you move. But, for those of us that always go to the field, we discover that some persons wouldn't want to speak out because of, one, the environment. And that is why we now went further to say, okay, thank God for the state government and whatever government, whether federal government, talking about shelter. If your environment makes you, prone to continuous violence, we advise or we help to move you from that environment. Now, some traditions does not encourage speaking up. I just came back from Auchi yesterday. We still did something like this. You now discover where you cannot. Let me share this case. An imam defied somebody, a child, and the parents. Somebody reported it to that organization, okay, but the parents now said, "This is our imam. We cannot afford to shame him. It will bring disgrace to Islam. Based on that, it must not be." In fact, the media person that was already taking the matter up, he was called to the palace of Jotaru to caution him. So we now discover that there are things we do not know until you get there. Some traditions, okay, wouldn't allow certain things or certain punishments to happen to perpetrators. So that if no action is taken, like we are planning something now, that man will continue to do it, and if possible to that same child. You understand? So the important thing is speak up. If you are a parent, make sure you don't protect perpetrators. And I'm happy that the content, one of the contents of the VAP law tells us that you that knows about that issue and you refuse to say it or report it, you too, you are an accomplice. You understand? So in law we call it accessory after the fact. So you know, you must say, and where you don't say, but in our society we don't even want to involve. You understand? The legal framework does not, well, the courts or the lawyers wouldn't want to go the extra mile to bring in somebody that knows or somebody that saw. They only base their judicial work on the victim and the perpetrator. Probably one or two evidences, if there are. So for us to ensure, according to your remark, fine, we have to do all that I have stated, so that this thing does not happen again. For a child, if possible, remove that child from that environment. Parents must not bring in sentiments. We, the adolescents and women must not bring in, sentiments. Key into it, of course, the market women cannot come and sit here with us. But when we take our sensitization to the marketplace, we tell them, bit by bit, on their rights. A woman has fundamental human rights, just like every other person. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll take one or two people on behalf of your organization. I know that there are organizations here that have brought in women to join the Sutawaka women, and when we go out, we also go out to push the message. They say one broom is not enough. It matters. Even if we cannot completely eliminate it or stop it or what is the other language, end it or all of that. But when we have people who are saying the same thing over and over and over again, we'll be able to take our messages down to the grassroots community. I think I have 4 or 5 organizations here that have also brought in their women. We all work in collaboration. So
from Woka, I want to thank all of us that are here for this program organized by Sutawaka, the Voice of Women Radio. I say a big thank you. It's indeed an opportunity for us to gather here once again to get this message on this 16 days of activism on the elimination of violence against women and girls. Like we heard from our speaker now. Yes, the issue of violation It's been on long. I can't even trace it, but it's been on. But I thank God that there's awareness now that this thing cannot continue, because we must learn to say no to what is wrong. Women, is it true?
Yes.
Yes, we must say no to what we don't like. And I'm happy that the government, the nation, the world is in support of it, that we as women and girls will not continue to be violated forever. We must speak up. We must say no, we don't need this. And it cannot be. Why? Because we don't need it. It's a humiliation. It's violation against us. How long can we continue to bear it? Go to the villages. You see where a man will marry 6 wives. One after the other, they pay homage. As a child, I do go to the village then. I will see that one elderly man is seated. The first wife will bring food. She will kneel down, holding the food. The man will cut, maybe eat 2 bowls of fufu. Carry go, you and your children. Number 2 will bring. Number 3 will bring. It's not in this time now that they are sharing maybe 3 days or one week. Then you must. Aside that, for the men that are very hardened, you know, they will cut this food, they put it on their ogun, and the woman will test first. Before the man will swallow, the woman will first, on their shrine, will test it first. Is it that he wants to kill the husband, the father of the children? Women were made to undergo all these processes there. In my family, it happened that my late auntie, she was the only wife to her husband, and she had 10 children, 8 men and 2 women. So when the man started going out as a pensioner, different places. But now we want it to change. We are coming out because we don't like how we are being treated. We are talking of sexual harassment or molestation on children now. This thing, we see it as something they use all the time for their different rituals. They pollute these children. That's why we cannot even count the number of mad people on the road now, mostly the young girls. For children, like the speaker mentioned, most parents, most families, they cover it up. Shh, you must not say it. No third ear should hear it. It dies inside the house. What happens to the life of that little girl? She grows up most frustrated. She becomes a shadow of herself in her lifetime because of that trauma. We must speak against it. I thank God for the awareness. We all must speak up. We must speak in one voice to say no to what is ravaging the women folk and the children in the society, our daughters.
Okay, first let me appreciate Sotawaka team for putting up these programs together, and also all the various partners that have joined in making this program a success, and also to my fellow IYO team for prompting me to be here, and thank God I'm here. I will just say that for the fact that talking about gender-based violence, and which is the major focus of these 60 days of activism, is an indication that so many work still need to be done. And when we are talking about investing to prevent violence against women and girls, for this year I looked at the theme and I chose to say, instead of us making emphasis on money, to say, oh, we need money to eliminate gender-based violence and stuff like that. Yes, money is good, but I also join my voice here to say we need to invest in time. We need to put time out, because when you're having a program like this, or you go out for sensitization, people are not interested. They don't want to participate. They will now wait until one day they have issue and they'll start calling you, oh, I remember the other day you were in this. So please, we need to invest our time. We need to invest our knowledge. We must not wait for this time. Some of us, we attend churches, we attend mosques, we have little gatherings and stuff like that. These things take place in the community. Let us take our time to educate people at those levels. Those who are victims, those who are the perpetrators, they are all from our communities. We need to invest time to educate them. So please, let us, every one of us, put our hands together to ensure that we eliminate this. If you are not you are directly suffering from it or whatever, somebody you know somewhere is suffering from it in another dimension. And lastly, it is not just beats that is this violence. It starts from the words and some of the ways we treat people. We must also focus on that. So with this little, I think my voice has been heard. I can have my seat now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Voice of Women Radio for this program. Well, one way to invest in preventing violence, I want to quickly say that one aspect of gender-based violence that's not really common. It's common, but people don't really pay attention to it. Is psychological violence, and it's really killing people a lot. So one way to invest to prevent violence is first of all investing in ourselves as individuals, as organizations, because if we must be ambassadors to carry out this message to other persons, we should start from ourselves. Now, if we are going to fight GBV, it doesn't start when you see two people of opposite sex fighting themselves. It starts with you, what you say to people, how you say to them, your body language, how you act around people, and how you address other people, and how you respond to people's issues. When a woman brings up issues to you, first of all, you are not supposed to, as an ambassador, to be judgmental. That's the first step to be an ambassador. The policy of non-judgmentalism is one key for us to invest to stop violence. Thank you very much.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Suzawa from Sutawaka. I want to say thank you to Voice of Women that organized this lecture this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did we kill you now? No. No, mind you. Thank you very much. Now we are going to our second paper presentation by it's going to be given to us by Pastor Blessing Eromo.
I will encourage us, those of us that can write, to write. If you did not hear what Barrister Agatha said, before you leave, ask her for some tips. It's very important, so that when you come to a meeting and you leave, and they ask you how was the meeting, you not say powerful. What did they say? Powerful. What was powerful? Powerful. No. You should have something to say. Because I'm going to empowering communities, and that's where the crux of the matter is. Each and every one of us, we live in a community, we stay in a community, we reside there. Whatever happens from any community. If a case comes, I'm sure the first question we'll ask is, where do you live? When they call me for any matter of harassment, human rights and all that, even if I'm going to call the AIG, he asked me, Blessing, where did this happen? And I cannot say, that it happened in Edo. Edo is too big. I should be able to say it happened at Iyekogba number 1. I should be able to give a proper description, because that is a community. All right, so when we talk about empowering communities for a local change, if we do not get it right at the grassroots, if we do not get it right at our communities, we'll keep on having this problem. So we were in a meeting yesterday with the CJ before I came for this opportunity to appreciate the Women Radio for encouraging and empowering us to be able to do this program. And my sincere appreciation to Madam Ronke Sotawaka for bringing it up no matter the challenges, no matter how inconveniencing it will be. So don't think because she's sitting beautifully, she's not having 1 or 2 challenges as regards this problem. But because of the love for this issue, because she's a matriarch when it comes to gender issues, she has to make sure that we are here. How do we, I heard the question that was asked when you were done, and my answer to that is embedded in this discourse. Community, one of the things that we do, one of the first thing, I have some points here, and I like it to be interactive, so I'll just read out some of the points I have here. If you have any points, you say before I go to the next topic or the next sub-theme. One of the ways we can empower communities, one of the ways we can empower local communities for change, don't forget, it's for change, it's not for anything, for change, is one, community engagement. We must have community engagement. We must foster open communication. So for example, I'm in a community, I don't know who my neighbor is, I don't know the woman selling something. We have some persons like that. They just go out, come into their houses, people don't know them, and they might have been there for 30 years. I don't see how you can be engrafted properly into that kind of community. One, community engagement cannot be overemphasized. We must involve the residents, we must involve the people that are there, we must involve them for decision making. There's nobody that will tell me you don't have a neighbor that has a child or that has children. You will not tell me where you stay, even where you have your business. It's your community because you stay there more than you stay at home. You understand? So probably you get home at the night and you are hearing gist or so, you may not be able to put your mouth in it. But where you work, where your business is, if any issue is told to you, you have almost 5 hours to deliberate and talk about. That's your community. We must open communication for that. We must allow residents to be able to express themselves and give input to that, to what is happening in the community. So I go to buy something and I see that children are being left to run on the street, and my street was now tiled. Mommy, please. My street was now tiled. So you know when they newly tie a street, it now becomes express road. Everybody, in fact, there was one day, one guy, he just drove, the road is curved. The guy drove into the bush. It was so serious. The whole car, and we're wondering, there's no road there. How come you went there? But because the road is tiled. So I see these children running up and down the road, small children between 0 to 5 years. And I told the mother, can you keep this your children properly? Do you understand? Because if anything happens, they will cry out for all of us in the community, right, to come and help take the child to the hospital. So to save myself that stress, I had to talk to her because that's my community. Number 2, I've mentioned community engagement. Let's not do I don't care, it doesn't concern me. I told them yesterday, when something is happening afar and you feel it doesn't concern you, very soon it will concern you because it's in your community. It will concern who you know, and it will definitely come to you. Number 2, capacity building. Why did I bring capacity building here? To provide training. Now this training may not be gathering people like this and spending money as some of us think and all that. Just a little bit of the information you know. You can get people in your compound. Like my compound, we come out sometimes, you sit down outside, and I tell them a lot of things that is happening, how they can prevent their daughters or their wives from this violence. I discuss with their wives. If I see that one of my neighbors is not smiling, and ask her, why are you not smiling? What is happening? Because it's a way of building her capacity. And then she tells me something, and I say, okay, is this the problem? This is how we solve it. And that's how my neighbor came the other day. Her sister was nagging. I even told my neighbor. So the nagging and quarreling was too much. And they normally don't quarrel in that house. So I went there. I said, what is happening? You go eat overfeeding. Share the food for us. And she said, no, it's her sister. And they dropped the story down. Her husband drove that away from the house and all of that. And I told her, this is not the best place to make this noise. I'll follow you to Ministry of Women Affairs, gender issues. If it's husband and wife matter, they have a unit that will resolve it for you. And I took her there. All right. And after that, I had to tell her some things she should do, some things she should not do to prevent, you know, all those kind of abuses. Like someone rightly said, I think it's from Caring Heart, we tend to focus on maybe a certain kind of violence because it seems to be paramount. But we see that the violence that happens or affects the mind is so serious, and that's what even leads to other physical abuse, because when the mind is not stable, when the mind is being affected, a lot of things that you don't expect from a human being happens. Another point here is partnership. We need to learn to partner or collaborate with local organizations. We need to learn to partner with them. So, like what is happening here, Sutawaka is not just the person here. We have other NGOs, other civil society that have like mind, that are also in this fight. We need to partner. We are not struggling for anything. Be coming down. We're all in this fight together. What you're saying is what I'm saying. But if Barrister says it in her law language, I say it in the language I understand. Somebody breaks it down in Pidgin. Mama says it in the way she understands. We're passing the same message. The target audience is being reached. Number 4, education. We need to raise awareness about education. Education may not necessarily be going to a normal school. I tell people in my church, I said, you are fine, you can't speak English, you can't go to a normal school. I think it's high time you begin to think about it. We have advanced learning programs because education gives you a kind of mind orientation. It's not just going to get some certificate. It gives you a bit of mind orientation. All right, then we look at advocacy. We've said that a lot of times. So if we are in a, for example, we had issue with people just banging the doors, asking for 1.5. Tomorrow another group comes and bang on the house and say they need 1,000. Another group, in a month, we can have like 3 persons come for 1.5, 1,000, 1,2. And I told them they are insulting our human rights. How will they come and be? They were not selling in the road. Why it's like we're paying for tickets. You understand? They come and knock on your house, you give them 1.5. After 2 weeks they come. So I told them it's not done. What is happening? Where is this coming from? And then I had to go to the community councillor, the chairman, and I spoke to him about it. And then he gave us the number of the persons who are supposed to collect money for security. And so we started making sure. So when they come, we called their number in. When they now saw that we had an insight, a better information. That's what education does. It gives you a better information for you to be able to know your rights. Know who you are as a woman. Know who you are as a girl. Know who you are as a human being. Because our issue here is not just for the women and the girls. It also affects the men and the boys. Some of them go through abuse, but they are silent. Probably they've been taught while growing up to be a man. Be a man is not a day's job. Be a man, don't come and die. I tell my children, something is going on with you. Speak out. You are a human being. You are first a human being before you became a man. So speak out. Speak if you don't like the way things are happening in your environment. Speak out if you don't like the way things are going in your community. Be involved. Be involved. That's what information does. A lot of us can attest to it that when we joined this CSO group, we became bold. We are able to go and speak to community leaders with a kind of respect. Just think back to before you started, let's say 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You see that you don't have that boldness because you don't even know what to say. So you get there, you start fumbling and all. But today, if I tell Laura to come speak to the way she will comport herself, even the community leader will be amazed, like, how come a girl is speaking like this? And he will listen. That's what information and education and continuous learning does to the mind of an individual. Going forward, let's celebrate success. When I observed that child was no longer running on the street, I went to the mother. She sells drinks and provisions, biscuits and all that. I bought drinks for the children to tell her thank you for hearing. Let's celebrate success. Everybody may not get it at the same time, but when you celebrate a little success, it gives them the mind to do more. So you talk to a woman and you say, your mouth is too sharp. The way you respond to your husband, he's talked 1, you talk 10, and the woman starts trying to cut it down, starts trying to imbibe that instruction. Celebrate the success, encourage her. Even when you speak to men, I've spoken to a man one day and I've told him that when you keep doing this, I know that you are expressing the anger you grew up with. And that's why that brings me to the last point on this segment before I go to the next one. When we look at some of these issues, they have family undertone. And I will not complete this section without saying that the family plays a very vital role when it comes to issues of gender-based violence. The family plays a very vital role. Sometimes I feel that the value system in the family is going down. I really feel so sad because when I look back to when I was much younger, I'm not old though, but I want to look back to 20 years, 30 years. So I see that a lot of things have changed. Some things that women really take very seriously, they don't take it seriously. Like, you cannot come back to the house when I was much younger, between 12 and 15. You can't come to the house after 7. Where are you coming from? How do you pass the gate? Your mind will be beaten. That's if your mind have never fly away. Even if you went for crusade and 10 people came back from the dead, it's not my mother's business. I slept outside. I got home 7:31. I slept outside. I went for serious power meeting, very serious prayer meeting. And I got home as I was running. I got home 7:31. I slept outside.
The very last thing I want to say before item 7 or item 8, everybody got something like this, right? It's the Voice of Women are actually they are the funders of this activity. They believe that every organization that does GBV issues during the 16 days of activism would have an activity to do. For this reason, Sutawaka was one of the 60 people turned in application for this activism project or initiative, and Sutawaka, and they gave it to 16 organizations around Nigeria. Sutawaka was one of the organizations that got some kind of funding, from the Voice of Women radio, and for this we cannot stop saying thank you. No matter how little, like I said, it is not how much anybody gives you towards a project that matters. It is the thought of even thinking of having you to some funds. We in the development world, we know that if you give us 10 naira, we will say thank you to you because we know that your thank you will run a mileage for this. So I'm going to say thank you again and again to the Voice of Women radio for the provision that they made available to us. So in addition to Voice of Women, we have Border Free based in Abuja. They sent in something to us to make this activity happen. We are in the premises of Hotbox. Hotbox is a leisure outfit. Anytime we have activities, we basically close down this place for 3 hours to have this place. So, and then our major partners, the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, under whose portfolio my office falls, because I do women and children issues, or Sutawaka does women and children issues. Would like to appreciate them because
quick everybody involved in the advocacy.
The Voice of Women.
The Voice of Women Nigeria, Sutawaka, IYO.
I'm from IYO. Okay, on behalf of Indomitable Youth Organization, we want to say thank you to Voice of Women in Nigeria and Voice of Women Radio in Nigeria and Sutawaka, Edo State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. It's quite a laudable project, this 16 days of activism, and we want to use this medium also to encourage others who are at home that fighting against GBV in Nigeria is not a one-man show, it's an everybody thing. All hands needs to be on deck for us to be able to eliminate GBV in Nigeria. So, in other words, we also have to listen to our children, because everything starts at home. We say charity begins at home. Your children should not tell you things and you just sideline it. At the time you give your children that encouragement from home, they'll be able to speak out on whatever thing that is happening. That's why we say this slogan, when you see something, you say something. Thank you.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Blessing Eromo. I work with Clean Foundation. This message is to encourage you out there. Yes, you woman, you girl, you man and boy, because we are not leaving anyone out of this fight against gender-based violence. We are not leaving anyone out. So we are here to encourage you that please, if you feel any kind of violence in any type of way, please speak out. And know that there is a woman out there that cares for you, that wants to help you. We are here. Get to the nearest NGO around you and make your complaint. Please don't die in silence. Your life is very important. Your life is very useful. Once again and finally, to our parents, our mothers and our fathers, please install family value in the life of your children. It will go a long way to do them good even when you are not there, and you'll be happier for it. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Ogba Endurance. I'm a documentation and because of camera, you just. My name is Ogba Endurance, documentation and communication officer of Sotawaka. On behalf of Sotawaka, with our partner, women of what? My name is Ogba Endurance. I'm the communication and documentation officer of Sotawaka. And also I'm also thanking our sponsor, Women of Voice Radio. I want to say thank you to. My name is Ogba Endurance. I'm the documentation and communication officer of Sotawaka. This 16-day activism, it's another time of the year to advocate for a stop to gender-based violence. So I'm encouraging every woman out there, I'm encouraging every man out there, I'm encouraging every youth out there to fight against gender violence against women and children. It's a fight for generation to come. It's a fight for the unborn children. So please, let's put all hands on deck to stop gender-based violence. Thank you.
I want this one. Okay. Because now people give me money. So, Sonny, give me, bring your PO.